Hey, welcome to my Warframes Where They Are Now series, a little series I've had brewing in the back of my mind since the early days of Warframe, quote unquote. I'm going to put this little intro at the beginning of every video in this series. If you've heard this once or more, feel free to skip it. This is just my opinion and is not guaranteed to be fact. Remember, with Warframe, everyone plays at least a little different from each other. That's why there's 52 frames as of making this intro, of course. That being said, I do plan on being as objective as I can with this series. But bias will always be a potential problem, and will definitely shine through in certain episodes, if not all. Now, that being said, I hope you enjoy the series. September 22nd, 2023. Hey everybody, I'm back. Yeah, I had to take a little bit of a break. I don't really want to get into it on the internet, but it has nothing to do with YouTube, I can tell you that at least. But anyways, today we're talking about Atlas. Realistically, he's a frame I hardly ever use, so definitely not going to be the best for advice on how to use him and whatnot, but I'm covering every frame, so today we're going to be covering him. Base stats on a level 30 Atlas Prime R, 475 armor, 263 energy, 525 health, and 450 shields. And of course, 1 sprint speed. Atlas's passive is he's immune to knockdown effects while he's on the ground. I guess it means you can skip putting, Prime Surefooted on him if you mess with that. I personally don't, but I understand why people do. Atlas's first ability is Landslide. Alright, funny thing, I completely forgot that that's what it's called. I've been calling it Rock Punch for basically fucking ever. But either way, you target an enemy, he charges at them, punches them really fucking hard, and the more you do it, the more rubble you have, which increases your armor. And it does a pretty substantial amount of damage, at least when you go crazy with it, but I don't believe it does well on Steel Path. You know what? Before I say anything any further, let me run him on a Steel Path mission. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Definitely behaves more like a CC power in Steel Path than an actual damage dealer, so you're not going to be getting the rubble unless you have a crazy amount of strength, which, given how he works, I definitely could see you doing a strength build. But anyway, as for the augment, let's see here. So he actually has 2. Granted, one of them counts as a passive augment, but I'm planning on putting it under here because it relates to it. Anyways, the passive augment being Rebel Heat. When above 1400 Rebel, Landslide no longer costs energy, and does 2 times damage and is 2 times faster. Definitely not bad if you can get up there. I will say that's, at least in my experience, doesn't seem to be feasible with my current build on Steel Path. I'm definitely going to tinker around and see if I can't get him there, because it definitely seems like it's possible, but I don't know. We'll see. The other one is Path of Statues, and you leave a trail for 12 seconds that petrifies enemies for 6 seconds. This one seems like it's actually kind of fun. Leans heavily into the CC side of things, and I actually really like that. So, yeah. Alright, so his second ability is Tectonics, and you've created a small rock wall that can protect your ass, and you can also choose to throw it at your enemies, because why not? Has a significant amount of health, even on the Steel Path mission I was running. Enemies weren't really killing it, so to speak, but I'm sure that they could if they really needed to, but I mean, if you had a truly impervious wall, that'd be kind of a little unfair. Even Gara and Frost would be jealous about that. Granted, it's tiny, so maybe not. But I digress. As for the augments, we have Tectonic Fracture. Create up to 3 walls with 100% health, and walls can no longer be turned into boulders. So, if you want to block off a bunch of areas, you can, but at the same time, there's no getting rid of them. I will say that I don't know how I feel about that one for the express reason of mainly what I could see me using it for and what I have used it for in the past, because I have used Atlas a little bit, but he's definitely my least played frame. I'd block off a small area in like defense or whatever, focus on somewhere else, and then when I'm ready to tackle that area, I just throw the wall at them and then start shooting at them. Like, yes, this would be good for blocking off more sections, but I don't like the fact that you can't really get them out of the way. You have to go an alternate route, unless you can walk through it, which I don't know, maybe you can. His third ability, Petrify, as the name suggests, hardens enemies until they're rocks. Dude is straight up Medusa. Pretty solid CC power. Will say that's the one thing that I really vibe with when it comes to Atlas. The problem is that's his helmet ability, so I could just put it on whatever frame I want it on. But either ways, petrified enemies do have increased chance to drop rubble, so you can heal yourself, as well as, you know, increase armor, as previously discussed with the rock punch. But yeah, no, it's pretty damn solid, I would say. As for the augment or gaze, petrified enemies are scanned into the codex and have a 25% chance to drop additional loot when killed. Definitely not the best looter frame, but it's kind of neat that that's an option. And if you are tired of having to scan shit, there's an option for you. I personally been using the, what the hell is it called? The freaking, the Cephalon hammer there, Cyanoid Heliocore? Yeah, there we go. I tend to use that a lot. His fourth ability, Rumblers, gives you a couple summons, their size based on your ability strength, which I always found kind of weird. But they go around and they kind of defend you. They're not particularly strong for Steel Path, I will say. For regular missions, they're pretty solid. When they are done, they collapse into some rubble. So, more armor. Which you definitely, definitely want to keep getting. I don't know how to feel about this one. Like, on one hand, it's kind of cool. On the other hand, like I said, it doesn't seem to be all that practical in higher level missions. I don't know. As for his augment, because he has two of them for this particular one. One of them from Nora, one of them from a Syndicate as usual. We have Titanic Rumbler, which is Rumblers create a single Rumbler with 300% health and 400% damage. Reactivating will cause him to slam the floor and knock down enemies within 15 meters. I will say, I definitely do want to squeeze that on there, because I only get 2 as it is, so it'd definitely be worth throwing it on there for the sake of, you know, increasing the damage. I'm not sure what I'm going to remove quite yet, but I'm definitely looking at it already. As for the other one, Rumbled, Atlas becomes a Rumbler with rock armor that grants Overguard and absorbs 300% of damage to max health. I honestly don't really care for that one. I haven't fucked with it, so maybe it works differently than how I envision it, and I probably should at least test it, because I have it. If it locks you out of your weapons, which it probably does, I don't think it'd be worth really using all that much, especially considering how powerful a lot of the weapons are these days, which is another video I'm thinking about making in the future, talking about that, because it's been going a little crazy lately in Warframe, I'm sure we can all agree. But either way, this particular augment just doesn't seem that appealing to me, especially nowadays. Even before all of the crazy nonsense that came out, it doesn't really seem all that fun, but I don't know. It probably works different than how I'm envisioning it, so we'll see. As for my build, I have, you know, a pretty moderate strength, a little bit of range, a little bit of duration. Duration's mainly for the Petrify, but I only have Steel Charge on there to get the extra capacity. I'm also not sure if that increases the strength of my Rumblers, but I do have it on there in the, you know, the vain hope that it does. But either way, yeah, no, nothing crazy. And like I said, if you're looking for an Atlas build, frankly, look somewhere else. I hardly ever use the guy, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing with that. And honestly, if you guys have some pretty awesome Atlas stuff, put it in the comments. I'm always looking to improve my frames, especially the ones I just don't really use all that much, because maybe there's just something I'm missing. I'm always happy to be wrong about this sort of thing. I don't have any Archon shards on him, and I'm honestly not sure what I'd put on him. Probably mostly strength, because he has a ton of armor and a ton of health, so he doesn't really need either of those. So how does he fare for Diviri? Well, for regular Diviri, as always, he's pretty damn good. For Steel Path, I only ever take him if I don't have any options that work well as far as tankiness goes, and I have good weapons. I don't really like trying to use him for Steel Path Diviri in his current state. Granted, that's actually kind of why I'm asking you guys as far as the comments go, because maybe you guys have something that can prove me wrong in that department. But either way, yeah, no, he just does not seem like fun to run in Steel Path Diviri. I have done it once, because I got my Fenmore, and the other frames just had absolutely no survivability, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me take a tank since I already have the damage. Alice is a frame I feel like has aged in a weird way. Again, maybe I'm wrong on this, but he seems a hell of a lot weaker than when he first came out. Because I remember a couple of my friends loved him to bits back when he was first introduced. And frankly, I can see why. He definitely has some really interesting abilities. And I fucking love the concept of rumblers. I think that's fucking great. But he's just not all that powerful now, at least in my experience. I don't know. I don't know where to place him, but yeah, definitely, like I said, he's my least used frame, and I feel like there's a reason for that. But anyways, that'll be it. And that's all. Thank you all for watching, and have a good one.